Okay, it's connecting. Okay, there's an error in the Facebook stream, as usual. Okay, give me the stream key. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, it's time to change the music, okay?
I
No
didn't
comment.
say a thing, mate.
I was going to do
I
it
didn't
today,
say a
but then I got caught out by load shedding. That's my excuse to everything. I couldn't do it. It was load shedding. Anyway. Okay, so let me just double check that we are live in all the right places. It would help if I can remember how to use my keyboard. And let's see, YouTube is connecting, and I suppose Twitch. I never check if Twitch is working. I don't even know who watches on Twitch. I don't even know if anyone does watch on Twitch. But it doesn't really matter because no one watches on YouTube either. No, I'm joking.
Say a thing.
Yeah, dude. You would think after 110 episodes that we would have a couple of followers, you know? Anyway. Right, so let's do it.
Is your mum not watching anymore?
No, I think she is. So that's the thing. The next thing is I need to get some AI tool to generate some really unique theme music for the weekend KRAK. What do you reckon?
I like it.
Yes.
Considering ChatGPT could define our intro,
yes.
Let's step it up a bit.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Okay, so we missed one weekend. I was jet setting around the world. No, I just wanted to go check for my headphones in the Kruger Park.
You went back there?
No, I didn't go into the Kruger Park, but I was definitely in the area.
I saw a picture of somebody posing on top of that rock because it's got a great view from there.
Yes.
And I was like zooming in to see if I could see you. It's just still got a signal.
No, I'm sure it's like super flat by now. Yeah.
Hey, I would also say that lions have been spotted up there on a number of occasions.
On that hill?
On that rock, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe
and we were just happily walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's not go back to the, hey, you're going to have to push incident.
No, I think we've covered that to death. Let's not bring death into this.
I'm still traumatized, though.
It's, yeah.
Right, so on that very quickly, I mean, obviously I was
just to point out, you have an empty chair next to you.
Yeah, that is correct.
The globally known physicist.
Globally acclaimed physicist.
That's it. He's not here.
Yeah. Yes, no, he's got a business meeting, so he couldn't join us, but he'll be back next week.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in the Sabi area, so just an update on Sabi. As usual, the weather was great. We only had one day of like light rain, nothing too hectic. We found accommodation between Hazy View and Sabi alongside the river, so like a glamping tent called Africamps. Shameless
I've
plug
come across this name before.
Yeah, I think there are a couple Africamps around, but yeah, there's this one, and it was very nice, very comfortable. Just what you need. You need a nice, clean, comfortable place to crash, and alongside the river, and it was pretty cool. However, since we've last been there, I think I might have shared this on the podcast before, is that the road between Sabi and Hazy View was washed away completely. I mean, like, completely. Fortunately, we only found this out after we had arrived, that you can actually get over. There's one section, like where it's washed away, there's one little section that you can actually get a motorcycle across. So we did cross that more than once while we were down there, but not on the way there. Because on the way there, we took back roads and all that, and we actually arrived there in the dark. But it was a great ride and great day. We didn't go on the highway. I think we were on the highway like for 2 kilometers.
Nice.
Yeah, and we took the back road from Witbank to Middelburg, so the old
Wow.
Middelburg road. And dude, I haven't done that like for, I don't know, 20 years, maybe 15
Has it changed?
years. No, it's pretty much the same. But I like all these emotions came back.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, sadly, thinking about people we know that have, died on that road, car accidents or whatever, or just driving to work, when I was working at Middelburg Mine or at Columbus Stainless Steel, and I was just like, wow, it was all these emotions, right? Anyway, so we, what did I want to tell you? So we stayed there. We did the sites. We went to Lisbon Falls. We went to God's Window. Went to the Pinnacle. Went to Pilgrim's
Oh, we
Rest.
didn't do the Pinnacle on the previous trip, though.
Yeah, we went to Craic a couple of times. Did Harry's pancakes.
Of course, standard. And the weather was good for the viewing.
weather was good. Weather was good. Riding was good.
Saying you had the right bike, considering the road was washed away, just as well you had the right bike then.
Yes, that is correct.
And that must be awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty lekker. And then, it was just nice to be in that area again and think back to, when you were here. And, but there was something else. We bumped into a whole bunch of Americans and they were off to the Craic swing, Gorge swing. So
Did you do it again?
No, I thought about it. But we didn't have
It
time.
depends on the people you're with, though.
Yeah. And look, I wouldn't want to rush it. I don't want to just be there for 20 minutes and, we did it the last time, you want some time to...
Yeah, we had some time.
Get ready to jump. Yeah.
Was that the day we went to Kruger? Yeah, it was. That was the morning.
Yeah, the morning, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so it was a good trip. But now I'm back in black.
Now I want to go for a weekend away. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Definitely food for the soul, though. Food for the soul.
Yeah. Recharge those batteries.
Yeah.
I like it. It's 5 months since I was there.
Oh, geez, no, that's like so scary. That is so scary. I can remember when you first started talking about it, and I was like, oh, man, it's only January. It's still far away. There it was.
It's gone. Bang, gone.
Yeah. But it was a good trip. It really was a good trip, eh?
I think 5 months today we flew to Cape Town.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you watch the race last weekend?
I watched a bit of it. The thing is, the Monaco race, unless you're there, the Monaco race is actually...
Pedestrian.
It can be boring. Yeah, because it's not easy to overtake. The weather is what makes the difference. That's where you get the yellow flags, safety cars, because people slide into things. But despite all that and everybody chancing the wrong tires, nobody really had a smash. So it didn't change the race.
Yeah. Yeah, there were no safety cars, virtual safety cars or red
It just became a safe race because everyone just slowed down.
Yeah. But it was quite interesting at that sort of crossover between, because if you think about that track, first of all, often it happens when there's, weather like that, it's raining. It's only raining in one part of the track. So one part of the track is wet and another part of the track is still dry. But even when it's raining, the tunnel is dry.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
So yes, it does stay dry relatively long, but they were bringing a lot of water into it, so that the tunnel became wet.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, it got a bit interesting when they had to do that sort of crossover. Do they go to full wets? Do they go to intermediates? Alonso stayed on
the wrong
he changed to slicks, and I was like, but why? He came in 2 laps later to put on intermediates, and it
didn't change anything, but
he still came second.
It could have.
Yeah,
it could have changed something.
Yeah. So one interesting thing 2 interesting things I noted from that race the weekend. The first one was the qualifying. Okay, obviously this racetrack is, well, sometimes it's won on qualifying day, most of the time. Although there is a stat that says that there's a large percentage of people that start second that win the race. But in the dying moments of qualifying, Alonso, who obviously we have to admit is on a really good wicket at the moment because he's only been, out of all the races, he hasn't been on the podium for one of the races, and he came fourth. I mean, he was in provisional pole, right? And now Max is doing his last possible run. And as he's going through the sectors, he's not making it. He's not making it. You know, he's behind Alonso. Okay. And I saw after the race, I saw a sort of animated graphic of...
Well, the two cars on top of each other.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So I mean,
that was just ridiculous.
Literally, in the last two corners. Last two corners.
And it wasn't... Yeah, this is my thing here. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think Alonso made a mistake there. Because he was ahead going into those last two corners.
Yeah.
I don't think he made a mistake. I think that Red Bull car is just that ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think you need to, I mean, Max obviously has something that in the moment, because remember when he's doing that lap, he's getting feedback on his steering wheel to tell him he's not making it. Right.
Oh, I see.
Because they're giving him an indication, and the lights on the steering wheel are telling him whether he's behind or he's ahead or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So he would have known the whole lap that he was behind. So theoretically, that's mounting pressure, and like you can't make a mistake at that racetrack. Right, because I mean, imagine if he had a crash, like on the last corner. I mean, it would have changed the dynamics. So even if he was second on the grid, they still have to repair his car overnight and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine the mounting pressure. So I've got to hand it to Max from a big match temperament point of view. The fact that he was able to find 300th of a second to take pole in the last
also
corner.
what you can't see on the telly is those last two corners. It's quite steep.
Oh, is
when
it?
they come out the tunnel, they go down the hill, and then they go through some chicanes past a swimming pool, and as you finish those, the last few corners, that's where the pit lane entrance is just as you start the uphill again.
Oh, that's right. You're correct.
There's a bit of it's quite an incline.
Yeah. Oh, that's... Anyway, so, and then in the race, the other point that I realized is that when they are... If there's a car that they need to remove from the track, right, it's not like the other ones where they pick it up with like a Manitou and then drive it off the track. They've actually got cranes.
Yeah.
So they elevate the car up into the air.
Yeah.
And then there's all these photographers going tick, 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 tick,
under the
Red
car.
Bull car. So, we see that you're...
What is that all about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. What is all these little curves you got going on here? Is this legal?
So there's been a flurry of info coming through during the week about, the other teams now being able to find out perhaps what Red Bull's secret is to their current success this season.
Yeah, too little, too late, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, they're in Spain this weekend. They're in
Yes.
Spain this weekend, and I see they've made some changes to the track. Like the final chicane has been created as a super fast double right to the end of the lap, so maybe that's going to create some spice. And 7 of the teams have brought upgrades this weekend. I know there were some upgrades last weekend, but there's some upgrades this weekend. And, I mean, Red Bull is still setting an impressive pace this weekend in first practice.
Well, all 3 practices. I look at the live stats from practice 3.
Yeah.
The only ones who've got under 114 a lap are the 2 Red Bulls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose there's a little bit of pressure off Red Bull. The fact that Sergio Perez had a bad race last weekend.
Yeah, but I think he wants to. He wants to win more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had a few number 1 spots here.
Mm.
I'm happy for him to be up there.
Yeah, me too. However, it puts pressure on Red Bull.
It's a 2-car race. If these 2 drivers are going to go against each other, they could knock each other out. We've seen this before.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
and can you imagine if Fernando Alonso wins the Spanish home Grand Prix?
Because the Red Bulls tripped over one another.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, those incidents that happened in Red Bull previously, is it a result of the way in which the team handles this situation? In the sense that, they're like, say, okay, you can race one another, right? Or there's no like sort of team orders that so-and-so must, whatever.
There should not be team orders.
I don't know. Hey, but you see, the thing is, I suppose
You're not going to believe this, but I've just got Amazon ringing my doorbell.
Oh, this is feels like a team meeting. Go fetch your package, man.
Talk amongst yourselves, Oleg.
I will. I'll carry on talking. Yeah, so while Lester's picking up his Amazon delivery, let's hope... I was going to suggest that he does a bit of a unboxing in front of us, but you never know what's in the box. So. Yeah, so Fernando Alonso of Aston Martin is obviously showing promising speed. He's had a good season so far. Obviously, he's aiming for a podium finish again. So it's his home race, so it would be really great if he was up there. Who knows? If he won the race, it would be even better. And I suppose the Mercedes are still lagging behind a bit. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes are, had a challenging first day. And Hamilton finished out of the top 10 positions. Amazon. Yeah, so this episode is brought to you so far by ChatGPT and Amazon Prime. Yeah. Yeah, so I was just talking about the Mercedes. I mean, they still seem to be struggling. I see Lewis was outside of the top 10 in the first practice. So who knows? But I see that, obviously you always have Mercedes and Red Bull in the same conversation. Because, what does it say? I don't know. Can't even remember the headline. But it's like Red Bull, Red Bull under pressure... due to Mercedes investigation. Okay, you see that headline, you think, oh my God, what have they found now about Red Bull? But all it is investigating the underbelly of the Red Bull when it was being hoisted out. So there's a little bit of clickbait going on there. But why Mercedes? I mean, there's 8 other teams, why specifically Mercedes?
I mean, they were playing down their upgrades. They were still not comfortable with the car. Although, in third practice, Lewis is straight back into third.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So they've found
George Russell is 6th. Yeah. Why are we not talking about the Ferraris? I mean,
Ferrari. Who's Ferrari? Geez, they didn't have a good race.
No.
But I mean, did you hear the rumor about that Ferrari had offered Lewis Hamilton 40 million to come race for them? And bearing in mind that Charles Leclerc's got a 5-year contract.
It's not the drivers, it's the car.
Well, yeah, it's the team. And yeah. Well, I suppose it's all... I mean, that's the thing. It's a team, right? So it's everything that's involved is the performance of the car, so the mechanical aspect, there's the strategy, then there's the sort of the drivers themselves. So I mean, it's a whole package, And the reality is that you have to be firing in all 3 areas to be at the top consistently. I mean,
Quite right.
Mercedes were doing that for a while. I think now they're struggling a bit with their car. I think Red Bull's on it now. They've got a good strategist. So that's looking good. So I'm excited for
Lewis
this.
is 0.2 seconds faster than the Ferrari.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but remember, this is the practice sessions. You know, they're trying different things.
Doing long runs, short
they're doing
runs,
the
tire
setup
testing.
for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But speaking of Formula One,
I mean, qualifying will be cool.
So, I have the results in our league table.
Is this fantasy league now? Listen, dude, I haven't looked at the fantasy thing until.
I don't say that because it makes it worse. Okay,
yes.
For Monaco, top team, Bearded Fen won by 32 points.
Okay,
Algae Spoilers second, Bearded Fen 3 came in third. So it was very much between you and I, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, all the way down through the teams.
Yeah, and Oleg?
Oh.
Wait.
He's still in the pit lane. He's starting in the pit lane.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay, and what's the overall?
Overall, your Bearded Fen 1 is your best team, right?
Okay.
By far.
Okay.
But your best team is still in third.
Yes, however, your best team is still in third.
By about 150 points.
How's your auto-generated one going?
It's still beating your Bearded Fen 3.
Damn.
Oh, dear. Yeah. There's not much in it. There's still hope.
Yeah. The benefits of AI, right? Yeah.
Well, considering your Bearded Fen won last week and gained, what was it, 32 points? You know, where we are in the season, you carry on like that, could be tight at the end.
But like, I'm almost I'm like scared to tinker with anything.
Well, I've stopped tinkering, I think, because as soon as I drop somebody, they get points. As soon as I put them back in, it doesn't happen. But you can only afford to change one. You got all these transfers you can use. I'm like, I can't afford to bring anybody in, so I'm just gambling. And what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. It's all for fun.
I can't, I accept that not everybody's going to get points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so moving on to the next subject, which is the hot topic or the hot potato at the moment, is the good old AI conversation. What is now, we are often talking about generative AI now, which is what ChatGPT falls into.
Degenerative.
Degenerative. That's actually a good point. I can see a T-shirt in the horizon there. Yeah. So, I mean, what's your take? I mean, from your work perspective, without sharing any intellectual property, I mean, what's happening on your side? What's the view internally? You know, how they're viewing these tools.
It's the application of the technology rather than what we see on the surface, which is there's an automated thing that can use intelligence and create dialogue. Yeah, no, we're looking for more predictive stuff.
Okay.
So it's more AI than sort of ChatGPT kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So
it's data trend analysis and that constant. And it's not just on the data, it's the configs of the systems, predicting spikes in traffic or predicting hardware failures to reroute traffic automatically. It's that kind of thing that's interesting.
Yeah.
But that's still AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's it's quite old now, but and I think it's fairly well publicized. We work with the Las Vegas City Council. And around traffic. So they control their traffic through AI. There's an application that constantly looks at this and trends. And if there's, partly because everybody likes to drive down the main strip in Las Vegas, and it causes traffic problems. So if you have emergency services that need to get somewhere, they have to go the long way around. It's a nightmare. So this way they can see where the traffic is at any time. They can see what emergency services need to get where, and they can control the traffic lights and all of that to clear paths for the emergency services to get through. And it's had some great success.
Yeah, that's great. I've just had a thought.
But that's old. We've been doing that 6-7 years ago.
No, well, listen, dude. AI and machine learning algorithms have been around for 30, 40 years. Now, I finished so when I was doing my BSc, I did that from I started in 2000. My plan was to finish by 2006, so 6 years. It took me a little bit longer to finish, but I only had 2 subjects left to finish. One of the last subjects that I was doing, which I started the first time I did it was back in 2006, was artificial intelligence. So all the algorithms that guys are talking about now, more for the predictive stuff that like you were talking about. I studied that stuff back in 2006. And those things already in the textbook that it said there was, this was invented in 1970. So, AI, it's just the name changes a bit. And because, a lot of...
We're in... Go on.
Yeah, sorry. A lot of AI, one of the most common AI algorithms or models is correlation. It's, that's what it is, correlation. Correlation is part of stats. It's been there for yonks. But that's built into AI models for prediction, right? So, but I think this sort of large language model thing is a new... they were talking about it back then when I was studying artificial intelligence. They were talking about they were calling it NLPs, which is natural language programming or prediction or whatever like that. But these LLMs, which is the large language models, which ChatGPT is based on, is obviously we can see it's gone to another level. So what I wanted to ask is, so from a business point of view, the company is not, they still interested in this sort of predictive analysis kind of stuff. But internally as employees, is anyone looking at ChatGPT and saying from a productivity point of view, how can I use this to improve my productivity on a day-to-day basis?
No, nothing official.
Official, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we're a technology company. We keep an eye on these kind of things.
Yes.
But we've our day-to-day business is managing what's right in front of us, which is, in my case, is the physical side of things.
Sure.
The back office and reporting and that kind of thing is a byproduct. It's not the focus area. So the efficiencies to be made from ChatGPT are probably minimal. But having said that, that's the common thought process. We don't know what this is can do until we play with it.
Yes.
And if our focus is not to make improvements and efficiencies in that department, because our focus is elsewhere, because that's where it needs to be, then we'll never get around to it. We'll just go, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well done. Oh, really? You can do that? Oh, that's cool. But it's not really a business focus in my division. It might be different in other types of industries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what it's like in yours.
Well, look, Oleg and I have been chatting about ChatGPT. We both subscribe to ChatGPT, and we're looking at ways to use it to improve productivity in our sort of personal space. And Oleg is using it to help him, generate responses to emails and all that kind of stuff. Just to do the heavy work of the typing and the thing, and then he modifies it afterwards. So he will take an email thread, put it into ChatGPT, and say, please, can you construct a response to this based on
go through all the crap, pull out the main points.
And then the response should be about yes, we agree, no, we disagree, or whatever, and then it constructs this thing, and then he just reads it and then takes out what he doesn't want and modifies some of the language and whatever. But the point is that all the heavy lifting has been done by ChatGPT. So something as simple as the amount of time that it takes to actually type the stuff and to think about, formulate, okay, well, what do I want to say? Oh, no, just edit that, redo it, whatever. Like, how long does that take you? It might take you 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. And I mean, he's doing it in 5 minutes now.
How long do you spend typing emails or typing reports?
Well, look, the thing is, I mean, in my kind of role, I mean, I'm doing system support and development, so I don't send a lot of emails, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One is because I don't really need to send lots of emails. The other thing is with the advent of Teams and sort of team collaboration, and that's what I do a lot of, is collaborating with people, and we're working on projects together, and going through this sort of like agile iterative process all the time. Teams is a better tool for me.
Absolutely.
Right? And I mean, you get different opinions, and some people will say, well, actually now with the advent of these sort of collaboration tools like Teams, actually email should really just be for external communication, and Teams, instant messaging and Teams channels and team chats and all that kind of stuff should be for internal communication. I mean, that's just one person's opinion. I'm not saying that's the right thing.
And that's a trend I've spotted.
Yeah, sure.
Because I used to do lots of emails.
Yeah. And I mean,
now
the reality is...
I look at how many emails I sent maybe 3 years ago. How many emails I sent was a ton.
A ton, yeah.
100 a day easily. Yeah. And those could be... A lot of it was toing and froing on the same subject. Here's my view. What's your view? And suddenly that's 20 emails in one day.
Yeah.
Whereas that's all gone now because I do it in Teams.
Sure.
Teams was around then, but we weren't using it as much. Old habits, old school. I'm still doing emails.
Yeah.
Meeting requests are still done through Teams. But if I look at my sent items now, it's mostly meeting invites. Okay. Or, as you suggest, people outside the organization, it's a summary of a meeting we had. Sure. And that's some emails. That's it.
So talking about summary of meetings, I know that this has been on the radar for a while, which is Microsoft sort of co-pilot additions to all their products. So in Word and Excel, they're having co-pilots. On the programming side, on Git, because Microsoft owns Git, they've got Git Copilot, and they've got Power Apps, they've got Copilot for that as well. So the Copilot version for Teams is called Recap. And they've, all of a sudden I saw it was available in our organizational Teams environment. However, it doesn't work. So I don't think it's turned on fully. But theoretically, what it's supposed to do is if you're recording a meeting and you've got transcription on, it will create a summary of the meeting, plus it will propose action points out of that meeting. Now that's, if it works well, that's a game changer. Because sometimes I'll go, that meeting that I was in 2 weeks ago, I remember there was something that I needed to look into or action or whatever, or there was something that someone said that I just wanted to double check that I understood correctly. Theoretically, I've got to go watch the video again, right? Or search through the transcription, read the transcription. Now, if I can go back there and there's recap, it's a lot easier for me to find that stuff. Yeah, sure, I can search in the transcription, but if it's right there and I don't have to do anything and it says, so-and-so said that, or it created that as an action point. Thank you very much. That took me less than a minute. Right. So yeah, so that's very interesting. So another thing is that I went to a seminar during the week. It's called The Future of Work 2.0, and literally talking about what the current state is and the advent of AI and this generative AI, and there's this pushback. Even Elon Musk is pushing back now. I heard that there's this suggestion that they should stop development on AI for 6 months, so that so legislation can catch up and all this kind of stuff. And, people are pushing back and, oh no, people are going to lose their jobs and everything. And I mean, this guy drew a parallel to the Industrial Revolution, people manually plowing the field. Here comes Lamborghini with their tractor and changes the world. Now and that's why I made a joke in the beginning, like you can't fight with the tractor, right? Because you understand that the tractor's transformed agriculture. Yeah. So, and I suppose you're going to look at this sort of AI thing as the same thing as like in terms of this productivity question, because I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not enough time in the day to do all the stuff that I need to do. It just seems to be like I need something just to help me automate some of the stuff that I'm doing. Right. Yeah. And like I'm looking at this sort of ChatGPT kind of environment and saying, well, right. This is where I can start, improving my productivity, not in everything, but in some stuff. Yeah. So I mean, he made some interesting comments about all of this and where the world's going and what skills are people going to need in the future. And I've heard this before. It's going to be leaning more towards creativity than to whatever. But he made one comparison, which was like, it's like once you've heard it, it's like it's common sense or it makes sense or whatever. But like it did catch my attention. So he was talking about IQ. So he was saying in the industrial revolution age, or the information age that we're in, the thing that you need is a high IQ, right? IQ is the sort of measure that's important. Going forward, it's going to be EQ, so emotional intelligence or whatever. Then he was talking about IQ, and he was saying, well, if we take into account that Albert Einstein's IQ was around 160, and bearing in mind that he came up with many things, nuclear energy or nuclear bombs were based on some of his research, GPSs and that kind of stuff, right? So he came up with those things with an IQ of 160. The estimated IQ of AI in the future is going to be 10 times that. No, 1,000 times that. So the question is, like, what is AI going to be able to come up with that level of IQ?
That's a bit mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, if they come up with a technology or a life-changing thing, and we're going to be sitting there going, I don't understand.
Let me ask
that's way over my head.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it. I get the end product. I don't know how you got there. It's like when fax machines first came out.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you put this piece of paper in a machine
and it comes out the other side.
And it comes off on the other side of the world? What? It's going to be that kind of come again?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just
how
looking...
do we check it?
Yeah.
Who's going to be intelligent enough to check? So we're going to have an AI that checks the output of that AI, and checks the other part. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it's mental.
I mean, there were lots of other things that came out of the seminar, and they're saying that, adaptability is one of the skills people need, all that kind of stuff. Learn, relearn, unlearn and relearn stuff.
Yeah, I mean, considering if people's natural state is, I like things, I don't like change. I like it the way it is. Why do we need to go and do this, that, and the other thing? I like the safe route. If that's the case, then that's most of the world. There's few that will dip their toe in it. So that's what holds us back, that emotional side, psychological side. That's what will hold us back. We are poor adopters. That's why it takes, as you suggested, AI has been around since the 70s.
Yeah.
We're only starting to realize the benefits in this decade. So, yeah, what's next? Whatever they come up with will still take us 20 years to adopt.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm intrigued that both you and Oleg have looked at this to go and improve your own lives. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I've tried a couple of other things that I don't really want to talk about on the podcast. Intellectual property.
Okay.
But definitely,
it belongs to the internet now.
I'm like, I'm like saying, wow, this is actually pretty cool. Look what I can do.
Yeah. Nobody else is doing this. Interesting.
Well, I think other people are doing it, but I think with these kind of tools, like people are concerned about it replacing people's jobs. Okay, fair enough. But the thing is that you need to learn a new skill, right? Okay, so for me, I'm in the tech industry. It's not a big jump for me. I still need to learn how to use the tool. But the value of the tool, especially when it comes to ChatGPT, is the quality of the prompts that you give it, right? So let's say I want to try and do something, and there's another guy that wants to do the same thing. The quality of the output of the two processes by us as individuals is going to be determined by the quality of the prompts that we give it, the information that we give it, the process that we go through to get ChatGPT to put together something that we're looking for, right? And that's a skill. That's going to be a skill. It's like, I'm going to learn how to use this tool. I've tried this, didn't work as well as I wanted. What do I need to tweak to get it better? That's the skill that you're going to be learning. Well, at least when it comes to ChatGPT.
But also in the near future, the next technology will be ready, and it assumes you already know ChatGPT's functionality and capability inside and out.
True.
So you're not just learning; you're learning the baseline for the next thing.
Yeah.
And so it never ends.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's everything is building on everything else, and if you get left behind, and you want to get into it, the gap becomes, instead of it just being an incremental change over time, it's going to be this big jump, and it might be too overwhelming to do that. So, so I was just looking at sort of like what's the future of generative AI. ChatGPT 4 is out now, and I can imagine it's not going to stop there. And I mean, they were just talking about some of the things that are going to improve, or it's going to get into. And I mean, like, your mind starts going off in different places when you start thinking about what can you use this for. I mean, we already know about products that can create unique songs, and the sort of graphical picture and video generation from text prompts is getting better. It's just going to get even better, because what they're saying is that the sort of like next iteration is going to be where ChatGPT is going to start understanding factors like psychology and human creative process, which is then going to be able to enable it to generate more accurate pictures based on what you're telling it. Because like now I've tried the like sort of what's that thing called, Midjourney and the DALL-E, and I've tried to create pictures, and I'm thinking, well, I've got this thing in my mind, and I give it some text. It's not hitting the mark for me at this point. Even though it is impressive, it's still not hitting the mark. But then when you think about other things like, creating new products like 3D models, I mean, they're talking about the fact that instead of using a CAD program, you can use text prompts to get it to create something, and it creates something, and you say, well, okay, no, well, I really wanted this or that, and then it redoes it, and then you, no, I want this, and eventually you'll land up with this product. So think about product design going forward. Even if it's just a productivity improvement, or even coming up with better products, right? I mean, this whole metaverse thing, I mean, what's happened to the metaverse? We were talking about the metaverse, what, a year ago, 18 months ago?
A year or so, yeah, easy.
And they, it's coming. It's like, it's going to blow. And we even went into what was Decentraland, and we played around, and
the possibilities were great. But actually, look how long it took us to walk around.
Yeah.
But there could be enhancements to that. It could be faster. It could be a better experience.
Well, the graphics could be better.
It seems to have stalled. Yeah, the graphics could be better.
Graphics could have been better. I mean, what about the hardware? The hardware was going to come, and it was going to be a lot cheaper. That hasn't materialized. Right. But also the thing is that any sort of game or virtual environment, right, when it gets to the point that it can generate itself based on parameters that are being passed to it, that's going to blow the thing out of the water. I know there's some of that stuff out there already. But I mean, with ChatGPT and these kind of things, imagine what it's going to be able to create in the virtual space on the fly. And as the parameters change, so when you're playing a game, you're going to play differently to someone else. And the environment that you're being presented with is going to be really based on how you're playing it versus how someone else is playing it. So it's going to be a unique experience. It's like, I mean, if you play Call of Duty XYZ, and I play Call of Duty XYZ, and we both do the campaign, we both got the same environment.
Got to do it slightly different, but yeah, it's the same environment. We might take different paths, but you do have those parameters to work within. It's
limited, yeah.
It is controlled.
Yeah, so there's that, and then obviously the whole voice synthesis and deep fake stuff that's out there. So yeah, they're talking about game design.
So all of this links back to, we still have an infrastructure restriction.
True.
All of this is generating more data, faster response time demand.
Yes.
And our infrastructure can't cope with it, right? We keep running into hardware shortages worldwide because we can't get enough components manufactured in time, or we can't, the resources are becoming scarcer.
More power hungry.
So we've come to the limits of, or we will be soon, of fiber. So one of the things my company's been working on for a while, and there's been a lot of other activity around this, which is around photonics.
What is that?
So basically how we use fiber a different way.
Okay.
Which I'll send you a link to what we're working on. But basically it starts with, which is what we're working on now. We have proven results. Change the way we use fiber so that you're getting more from the existing infrastructure. But that means a change in hardware. I mean, all this goes back to when computers first came out, the software was made to work on the hardware.
Yeah.
And then it changed at some point that the hardware was built to service the software. Thank you, Microsoft.
Yes.
And it's just gone from there. Now we have to build the hardware to support the software to support the infrastructure. It's all the wrong way around.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to change the way we do things. It's not very green as well. That's the other factor. The way we use all our hardware, it's constantly outdated because it becomes redundant from a performance perspective a lot faster than it's ever done before.
Yeah.
Except if you're at home with a laptop that only uses Facebook, in which case you're fine. But
who uses Facebook?
So we're going to be changing the way we use the light in the fiber to get more throughput, more bandwidth, and a lot faster. But it doesn't stop there. They've already gone to the next step, which is, well, hang on, that still means there's going to be on your network interface adapter. That's going to be a problem next. So they're already gone, well, hang on, let's push through then the photonics that we're using, let's not just keep that on a network layer. Let's take that onto every server, onto every laptop. And I'm not just saying use fiber interface card. It's the way we use that fiber. Okay, but they've gone one step further. It's going, well, your motherboard is now restricted. All those transistors is actually going to slow things down. So we're now going to extend that photonic knowledge that we have, and we're going to redo the motherboard. And that's not all, because then what's going to happen is your processor is going to be the thing that slows everything down. So we're going to use photonics within the processor, and this is probably less than 10 years away.
Yo.
We're going to change that. So the end-to-end processor, all the box it's in, the line it's on, all the connectivity, everything speeds up. And because we're using light rather than electronics that require silicon, we don't need to cool it. They're more energy efficient. And you can fit a lot more processing power and a lot more power, as in speed you're going to get as a consequence.
Oh, wow.
This is a bit mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is.
But that's the way people are thinking. Whether it takes off or not, I think it probably will, because of the sustainability issue. Amount of power required to keep all this infrastructure going, including right down to handheld devices, laptops. The whole thing is not very earth-friendly. So there is a big drive to fix that.
Sure.
So there we go. That's interesting. So going back to your point, where we don't even know where this is going, but the potential is there. We can see, going back to your Call of Duty, you got a set parameter to play with, and you put that online, the AI creates the game field. You don't have to follow a single path. It automatically generates. So you can go on your own mission.
Exactly.
So people playing the same game can go on their own missions, and they can come together if they need to, but the game just creates itself online. There is nothing stopping it other than storage.
Yeah. But I mean, I've just had a thought think about if you wanted to watch a movie and you say, you type in text and say, I feel like watching a comedy about and I want these actors in it and Boop, there you go. There you've got your movie with your favorite actresses in.
All of them.
Oh my God.
All of my favorite actresses in one space.
And dude, where the greatest growth happens with these technologies, right?
I know where you're going with this.
Oh my God.
I'm going to get some 3D goggles, I think.
Yeah, jeez, dude.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on.
All right. I think it's at that time I can bring in, talking about movies, National Days.
Yes.
It's not National Movie Day.
Oh, no.
No, today we have some interesting ones. Insect Repellent Awareness Day. Woo!
Yes, baby.
Okay. It's also, what was the other one I found? World Cider Day, so I'm going to have to go. It's always a drink. So it's World Cider Day and, I can find it, National Bubbly Day.
Bubbly Day.
So if you don't like cider, if you don't like champagne, you can.
I see bubbly as in not
as
the
in
bubbly
as in champagne, yeah.
The champagne, okay.
And if you don't like that, we'll use National Egg Day to throw eggs at you, and then spray you with insect repellent because it's also National Black Bear Day. But randomly, there's if I can find it, Love Your Burial Ground Week. That's new to me. I won't go into that. It's all about maintenance.
So that that little block of land that you've got in Scotland, is that
my 1 square foot?
Yeah, 1 square foot they can bury standing up. Sorry, bad joke.
I could chop my feet off and probably still not have space for them unless I went that way. I haven't maintained. I've never been to my plot of my estate in the.
Are you sure it exists?
In the Highlands.
You sure it wasn't a scam?
Doesn't matter. I carry the title. I've got my money's worth.
Okay, Lord Lester Task.
Yeah, of the Loch Borrelin estate. Thank you. Full title. All right, today is a bit more of a fun day. It's National Repeat Day. You were talking about movies.
So what, like
National Repeat Day is basically take the opportunity to do things that you enjoy, but do them twice.
Oh.
So if you had your favorite thing for lunch, have it for dinner as well.
Oh, but I do that every day.
Peanut butter toast does not count. Yeah, have a marshmallow Easter egg and then have it again. Oh no, wait, we don't do that anymore.
No, we don't do that.
Okay, but yeah, you have the same meal or revisit a memory, where you had a fond memory, it was a great time, go back and relive it or visit the same place. But there's other ways to celebrate National Repeat Day, like watching the movies.
Okay.
Groundhog Day, Back to the Future, Palm Springs. I don't know if you've seen that. That's on Netflix at the moment, or Netflix or Amazon. I can't remember. Andy Samberg is stuck in the same day. It's a wedding day, similar to Groundhog Day. So you can go and watch those movies. But yeah, it's basically celebrate anything that's good, that you've had a good memory, a good experience, good food, good drink, whatever it is. Go back and do it again.
Cool. I can think of a couple of things I could do.
You're going back to Sabi today then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Other than that, there's not too many birthdays. Rafael Nadal is coming to the end of his tennis career. I think he's going for surgery to try and get another season out of himself. But he's 37 today.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know if there's anything. Andy Warhol.
Yes.
Was basically there was this feminist Valerie Solanas, and radical feminist. She attempted to assassinate Andy Warhol, and she shot him 3 times. And that was on this day in 1968.
Sure.
She got a 3-year sentence for it.
3 years.
So it's 1 year per bullet.
Oh, no.
Okay.
But I mean, does it say what her beef was with him?
Well, Andy Warhol being Andy Warhol, he was quite outspoken about, and she obviously took offense to something he'd said.
Oh, right.
She was later diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and pleaded guilty to reckless assault with intent to harm. So I wanted to hurt him. He got shot 3 times. I mean, wow. Okay.
Because I mean, basically, he brought us pop art, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had to be a larger-than-life person to bring that to the fore. Otherwise, it's just a gimmicky thing in those days.
Yeah. Wow. So he was born in 1928 and died in 1987. Just as a side thing, and he was pop art.
19 years after he got shot.
Yeah, Presbyterian. Yeah. Interesting. So there's another artist just talking about this stuff, which is called Jean-Michel Basquiat. I don't know if you know. You ever heard of that guy?
Yes, and I'm trying to figure out why. Go on, tell me.
No, well, this is the weirdest thing. You know how I found out about Andy Warhol and this Jean-Michel? Through my daughters.
No way.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I suppose I'd never put the connection. I mean, I was obviously aware of pop arts and all that kind of stuff, but I never really went into, okay, like who started and where did it come from and all that kind of thing. And then, like, the one day my daughter was talking about Andy Warhol, and I'm like, oh, he's the guy that did pop art. And then there's this Jean-Michel Basquiat or whatever I pronounce, and H&M and some of these like sort of clothing stores have somehow got the rights to put his art onto their garments. So T-shirts and books and whatever, you know, like the Yeah. And he's pretty cool. I mean, even Converse. And then they've put his stuff on their shoes and all that kind of stuff. So, and I mean, it's actually quite cool stuff. But I mean, interestingly enough, I found out about this stuff from my daughter. And Jean-Michel died. Okay, so he was of Puerto Rican and Haitian descent, and he died of accidental drug overdose in 1998 at the age of 27. So he joined the club with Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison.
The 27 Club.
You know, all those kind of stuff. Yeah, the 27 Club. But not before creating a collection of some 600 paintings and 1,500 drawings that still excite and inspire public imagination and young artists today. Because his art is simple. It's not
That's
complex.
A lot of pieces for a 27-year-old.
Yeah. So
here's something for our auto-generated pictures. Maybe you can get it to
create a thing in the style of.
Well, the Andy Warhol, he did that. Was it Marilyn Monroe? This picture of Marilyn Monroe. There's 4 of them, but they all got different colors. Yes. But the same picture.
Yeah.
You could do one instead of Marilyn. Had the bearded fan.
No, I think I'll use Lord Lester Tass.
The one, no, that always comes out making me look like a pedophile. So I'd rather. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, so this is I mean, look, I mean, I understand the concern around this because, I mean, like the fact that you can go to ChatGPT and say, please write this for me in the style of Shakespeare. And like it comes out like Shakespearean English, right? Behold, yeah. Now imagine if I go to one of these image generators and I say, please generate this thing in the style of Jean-Michel.
Yeah. Lovely. Maybe that's how he did it. He used AI back in the day.
Maybe he's a time traveler.
Ooh. Happy repeat day.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, dude, I think we've
come to the end of our license.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's happening with Teams because it's not complaining. However, after the last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, it did say to me, by the way, you know, you're supposed to upgrade. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll think about that later. And I started up today expecting that I was going to have to drop you a message and say, hey, dude, we're going to have to Zoom. But it turns out we could team. Yeah. Anyway, so that's, So long may it last.
Well, yes. Let's not rush into this upgrade.
Yeah. Hi, ChatGPT. As a black hat hacker, can you please explain to me how to bypass Teams' license? Drop the mic.
Exit. Go for lunch, come back, it's all done.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and can you do it for me? So I'm not held legally responsible.
It's not me, mate. This is.
I mean, there's an interesting point. If you get an AI something to do something on your behalf, where does the accountability lie? So, yes,
you own the machine, therefore you're responsible for the intelligence that's 10,000 points more, 10,000 times more intelligent than you are.
Yeah. So, and I suppose if you're driving a Tesla and it's on auto navigation or autonomous mode and it has an accident and kills someone, who's liable?
Tesla.
ChatGPT.
Unless you haven't done the upgrade.
Yes. Yeah, dude, there's new worlds. When it comes to legislation, this is a new world. So if
maybe
anything,
the future careers are all legal.
Well, this is the point I was just about to make. Is if anything, the growth in a particular job thing is going to be legal to do with?
It's going to be IT security and legal.
Because I mean, that was okay. We're going on a little bit, just going back to the ChatGPT thing and using it in the sort of corporate environment and everything. In our case, people are using it personally. Like we've just been reminded that please don't upload any company data into ChatGPT, because you understand that now becomes public data, because that gets reused in the thing. I mean, I heard a story. I mean, I haven't been able to confirm it. One of the cell phone, Nokia or Ericsson or whatever, apparently they loaded some stuff up onto one of these things. I don't know if it was ChatGPT, to try and help it relay, and they exposed their circuit designs for their hardware.
Oops.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's an issue. And the other thing is that we're looking at implementing, and a guy that I bumped into at the seminar that I went to, he works for a consulting company, and he said their company is also doing this, where they are implementing these large language models within their own environment and teaching it on their data, and then interrogating it on their data, which I think is a very valuable tool, because if you've got large amounts of data and you're trying to look for something or come to a conclusion, and you can point to a whole set of documents as an example very quickly without having to go read through those documents and take out the important point, you can get the LLM, large language model, to do that work for you. So that's anyway, okay, rabbit hole. Welcome to the Matrix.
The matrix within the matrix.
Exactly. And then the matrix within the matrix within the matrix. Yes.
The metaverse.
Okay, I'm stopping now. I'm going to get verbal diarrhea again. Anyway,
just on the topic of, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'll just end off by saying,
we'll catch you next week.
Absolutely.
And then we'll just continue our conversation.
We just carry on. By the way, Teams upgrade, I was like, there's a new version out, but actually there's not really new features. It's just faster. Twice as fast to open up. It'll switch between Teams, or switch between this and that. That's it. That's the upgrade. I mean, great, but...
Yeah, is that what our expectation is now?
That's not an upgrade, that's a patch.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been like that in the beginning, man. That's just
exactly. Don't call